Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive look at Revolut's personal loans. And taking out a loan is a pretty big decision, but doing it through an app like Revolut, well, that adds another layer of questions. Like, can you trust it? Is the rate going to be fixed? What happens if you miss a payment? And if Revolut ever shut down, would your debt just disappear? Well, sadly, no, it wouldn't, but there are things you need to know. And in this episode, we're going to break down Revolut's personal loans. We'll look at where they're available, how they compare to other lenders, and we'll even take you through the process of applying for a loan directly inside the Revolut app. But before we begin, please do consider subscribing to the channel or podcast. If you want to support us, that's the easiest way to do so. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it does have a really positive impact on our channel. Okay, Jan, the natural place to begin, I think, is where these loans are available.
Yeah, hey Johnny, thanks for the intro. They're available in European countries: Ireland, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Spain, France, Germany, Portugal, Italy. Then there are two exceptions. So apparently there was a soft launch in the United States where just a few customers have access to these loans through a partnership with the Cross River Bank, that's Revolut's banking partner over there. I assume that once they acquire their own banking license, or maybe even earlier, they'll probably launch these to the general public. And Revolut loans are also available in Australia. In most of these markets, you can take out between 1,000 euros or 50,000 euros or whatever the local equivalent is, and the terms range from just a few months to 10 years depending on the country.
Are they available to users that have opened a Revolut account in those specific countries but might not necessarily live there anymore?
Well,
they might say live in Panama, for example, but they may have registered in Germany.
Yeah, Johnny, you got to update your banking address, right? And if you move from a supported country to an unsupported country, you won't be able to use Revolut anymore. So no, you won't be able to access these loans either. If you move from, let's say, Germany to Italy, two countries where loans are supported, then I assume if you have an active loan in place, you'd probably keep the loan in the country you applied for, right? In Germany in that case, I would assume, might be worth double checking that. I think once you update your address to Italy, you'll be able to access the Italian Revolut loan conditions.
Okay, so if we live in the country where they're available, what is the eligibility criteria like? What does it take to actually get a Revolut loan?
Well, there is no very strict criteria. Revolut doesn't say like there's a minimum credit score you got to reach in order to be eligible for these loans. It's more of a apply and then you'll figure it out, right? And if you're eligible, they'll make you an offer, right? And that's actually when you learn about the APR as well, right? It's not visible beforehand, but what they do is they give you a range, right? It's, for example, between 5% and 20%. And if you have a good credit worthiness, you'll be getting something more closer to the 5% end of the spectrum. And if your credit worthiness isn't as good, you'll be paying a higher APR.
And of course, when you initially apply, you shouldn't be frightened of it damaging your credit score if you're rejected.
Yeah, it's a soft pull for the initial quote. But once you know the conditions, right, that's when they make a hard inquiry. So essentially, just before the loan acceptance, they make a hard inquiry, and then obviously it will affect your credit score.
And depending on the rate that you're assigned, is that a fixed rate, Jan, or is that variable? So could it change at all after you take out the loan?
These are fixed rates. So like whatever the duration of the loans is, the APR is fixed for that duration.
Would that be one thing that makes Revolut's loans more appealing, perhaps because they're fixed?
Yeah, not necessarily. There are plenty of similar offers in the market. So just because they're fixed, they're not unique. There are some benefits that definitely make these Revolut loans worth looking at, but it's not a magical product that does something incredibly better than others.
Okay. Can you share some of those benefits though?
I think they're best for people that are really looking to have everything banking related included in one app, right? And that's what Revolut is great for. People that maybe not caring about getting the best rates prefer convenience over necessarily getting the best deal. And aside from that, obviously the application process is very, very easy, especially if you compare to legacy banks where you sometimes have to send letters, where you have to go to the post office for verification or do other crazy things like that. With Revolut, that won't happen. You can apply directly through the app, and often you even get an instant confirmation There are a few exceptions in some markets. There's a legal cool-off period, right, after applying.
I did read that is it the French market, there can be a delay, or there is just like a fixed delay of 8 days?
I think 7 or 8 days in the French market. Might be some other markets as well. One would need to look at it.
Yeah, so just don't panic if you're accepted but the money doesn't come through and you're in France. It's okay.
I'm pretty sure they'll inform you well about it, though. I don't think they'll just hold your money back and then you'd end up wondering what happened to it. No, you'd probably be getting an email informing yourself about this legal cooling off period.
So roughly loan sizes could be anywhere from €1,000 to 50,000, depending on the region or the country that you're applying from. We've got a great benefit that Jan just mentioned about the speed in which you can receive your money, and also that the interest that you'll get on the loan is fixed. Obviously, there are some countries where it's available and where it's not. We'll put a list on the video so you can see that if you're watching this. But where could we expect loans to launch next? Because if you're listening to this and you're interested in getting a Revolut loan, but it's not available in your country, don't panic, because Revolut are rolling out products so fast at the moment. And I think there's probably a couple of countries that can expect to have loans available very soon, particularly in the European Union, right?
Yeah, pretty much all other EU markets I see as possible targets for near-term expansion. Okay. What's also of high priority, in my opinion, is the UK. So as soon as they have their full banking license, I believe they'll launch the loans like pretty much immediately upon approval.
Obviously, Revolut loans aren't going to be for people that don't have very good credit. Possibly they're already in debt. But are there any other reasons why someone shouldn't get a loan from Revolut?
I think before applying for a loan, you should look at the interest rate, right? And if Revolut offers a very competitive interest rate to you, more competitive than you'd be getting it from other banks, you should probably go with Revolut loans. But what I found personally on German comparison websites is that interest rates, they can be worse than with legacy banks. Especially if you're applying for a long-term loan, right? If it's several years, and if it's a higher sum of money, make sure you're getting the best interest rate possible, and think about actually going through these lengthy verification processes that you have with legacy banks, if it helps you saving a few €100.
It's an important thing to look at. It's not like a credit card where you won't pay interest as long as you pay your credit card back monthly. Interest is guaranteed on a loan.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something that you need to be looking at. Do you get told what the APR will be before you accept?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to actually visualize this from within the Revolut app right now. So what we do is we type in loan here in the search bar. They click on personal loan, and then this page opens up, and then you'll see your country-specific conditions. In my case, it's up to €50,000 with interest rates starting from 4.95%. Then click on apply for a loan, and then this opens. There's an interesting loan calculator. So let's say I would be interested in borrowing 10,000. Let's say €10,000. Oh, it's a tiny bit buggy. Okay, for a loan duration of, let's say 50 months. Okay, got to type that in as well. So they'd be suggesting that there's a monthly repayment of €225.69. That'd be an APR of 5.96% for me personally, annual interest rate of 5.81%, and the total repayable amount would be €11,284.44. Yeah, and if I decided this would be interesting enough to proceed with the application, I'll just click the button, continue with the application. They'll ask you a few questions, right? Just fill them out. Not gonna do this on camera right now. Also, I'm not interested in applying for a loan. But it's you
Sure.
can see it's fairly simple, right? If they decide to accept you, you'd be getting that payout instantly.
So if we're to just summarize what Revolut are offering, Jan, we can call it fast. We can call it transparent. They give you a really good overview of the interest that you'll have to pay back. And I suppose one of the constraints here, Jan, is just availability. It might not be available where you're based.
Definitely. But give it a few more years, Johnny. Give it a few more years. And I tell you something, Revolut's going to launch loans in all of the markets they're available in right now. Or at least most of them, just because it makes financial sense for them.
If you have any questions related to today's video, just let us know in the comment section. Either Jan or myself will be happy to answer. We've spent some time researching Revolut loans in preparation for this video, so we probably know more than most people that don't at least work for Revolut know about them. So we'll be happy to try and assist you. And like I said earlier, please do subscribe to the channel or the podcast if you'd like to support us.